Hey, so I just wanted to say good morning. I'm not showing me this time because it's dark and you wouldn't see me anyway, but also because I've got a headlamp on, so it would just be a bright light. That would be silly. I just wanted to say good morning, and I was up at 4:45. I left at 5:26. I spent some time on my foot care and exercises, of course, and yeah, it's a really nice 12 degrees, super comfortable to walk in. I could do this for a long time. It's another relatively short day today. I think either 20 or just under 20, or maybe just over. And yeah, I've got the next 4 days sorted out. I've got 2 peregrino albergues. Peregrino is the Spanish word for pilgrim. And 2 albergues where I've made a reservation just to be sure that I had a place. And I can be relatively certain that I'm not going to want to go further on any of those days or less, because there is nothing to go to. So nothing within a decent walking distance. So I feel quite sorted with that. Today I'm on my way to a peregrino albergue where you can't make a reservation. And well, I mean, they're all for peregrinos, but some you can make a reservation and some you can't. And this is one where you can't. It's a parroquial, so it's in the church. And yeah, it's just very nice out, cool, quiet. I'm very much loving it. And I'll talk to you guys later. So, down there is where I've come from. It's a little bit lighter than it's showing in the video. I was really hoping you could see. See all that red back there? That's a field, a huge field of poppies and whatever that grain is that they are growing there. I feel like it's wheat, but unfortunately I don't know the difference. Just looking at them in the field. So yeah, it's getting light. I don't need my headlamp. I haven't used it actually for the past half hour. There was enough light. But yeah, it's really just that field. It's crazy. The one next to it doesn't have any poppies. I bet there's one kind of grain that they really love growing in. Anyway, that was one rise out of town. That might have been the only one. I know that it goes uphill out of town. So I might be at a plateau and then going down, or there might be another rise. Doesn't look like it though, looking at the horizon. So it's just gone 1 hour, and I didn't check the temperature, but it's maybe 1 degree warmer. Still feels great to me, although I had to take my jacket off. I am really Scottishized. And yeah, we're descending now. There's a little town called San Bol. I think that's up to the left. I'll of course be passing through it. But beautiful pink skies over there. Today we're going to Castrojeriz. Not sure if I said that. And I'm not 100% sure if this is true, but the way I understand it, on the meseta, which I think Castrojeriz is in the meseta, it's like very dry, not a lot of water, like there are no water fountains anywhere like we've had all through the rest of the Camino, and no trees, although at some point they were supposed to have planted trees, so I'm not sure where that comes up, just like right along the Camino. And the way it sounds to me, it's kind of like a desert, you know, but I'm not sure. So soak up all this greenery now because it might be going away. I'm not 100% sure on that. And up there, you see that one tree there, the two trees, the one on the right. I'm gonna pass that tree, and just beyond that, you might be able to see a road that's going up a hill. I'm pretty sure that's our Camino path. Gorgeous. Really, really beautiful. In the distance there, there's like a stone wall. You see those a lot in Scotland. You don't see them a lot here. There's another one. Beautiful poppies again. They're just so gorgeous and bright. I was thinking about some of my Camino friends, Jen and Kathy from the bus ride. I saw them, well, from the original bus ride from Biarritz to Saint-Jean. I saw them maybe 3 different times on the road, and that was pretty cool. Don't know if I'll see them again. I think they're ahead of me, and they walk quite quick, and yeah, but they popped into my head, so maybe I'll see them. And I never got to see Sida again. That's a shame. I really wanted to catch up with her. And Steve from Germany is also long gone. He's way ahead of me. Aurelio is at least a day ahead of me, if not more. And Tina is now behind me because she stayed 2 days in Burgos. She had, as an archaeologist and a historian, she had a lot of things that she wanted to see. And God, that sun is beautiful. 2 pilgrims on the road back there. And there are more Camino friends whose names I don't know, that I may or may not see. And yeah, I was just thinking about them. It would be amazing if we all ended up in Santiago at the same time, but you know, with all the days in between, it's unlikely. So just in case any of them are ever somehow going to watch these, then shout out to you guys. It was great meeting you. And buen camino for everything else that you're doing in your lives. They've already gone. They're my first bunnies in Spain. In Scotland, we have lots and lots of them all over the place, at least where I live. But these are the first ones I've seen here. This is really nice the way they've harvested around, you know, and left that central area. It just looks really pretty. I love all these stony bits here. Looks like we're coming up. This is Juan Thomas. This little village down there. I'm not sure how many villages there are between here in Castrojeriz. If it's the next one or not, I don't really know. This is a ermita San Brigida, so I'm not sure if it's called a hermitage in English, but it's for Saint Bridget. This is a really neat little stone hut. For pilgrims to rest and pray. I'm going back into town. Not back, but now I'm going into town. Where I was headed before, and I stopped and saw that Santa Brigida. Looks like a neat little village. So, I can see you. You can see me properly. I can't see you. Yeah, so feet were starting to get a little bit tired at 2 hours, which was about 25 minutes ago. And, but then in Hontanas, I was able to use the toilet. I know, oversharing again, but that made such a difference. It's given me so much energy again. So that's really, really cool. And I am about halfway. I've got one more little town comes after Hontanas, and then is Castrojeriz. So the next town is in 4 kilometers, and Castrojeriz is, yeah, I forgot. But I've come about 10.5 kilometers now, and so it's about halfway. It's 7:45, so I'd like to try and get up even a bit earlier so that I can make sure to leave by 5 the next time, because yeah, the cooler it is, the better. The longer it's cool, the better. And here's a bit of countryside. So we still got lots of green, which is really nice. All right, see you later. So, again, still beautiful countryside. It's just gone 8. It's warming up a little, but not too much. It's still all right. I think it's probably around 15, maybe 16 degrees. And I've just been thinking about my mother dying now 14 years ago. And I was just kind of working through some feelings just now, a little bit angry. How could she die? We had so many plans, you know, that kind of thing. When I was little, you know, she was always afraid of being what in the United States is called a bag lady. And it's a homeless person, you know, who just has bags of things, you know, that they push around in their shopping cart. And she was afraid that that would happen to her. And I always told her from the time I was little, I would never let it happen. And I would take care of her. And I intended to keep that promise. Just before she died, we had talked about her coming to live with us, not in the apartment where we were, but, you know, getting something permanent with a granny flat, you know, that could be her own place. And, you know, she still wanted to maintain something in California because, you know, she needs the warmth and the heat and the sunlight. So she was going to do half a year with us, half a year back in California. But that was the plan. And then she suddenly died. And, you know, I've worked out all those things about, you know, that suddenness. And, you know, that's not what I wanted to talk about. And that's not what I was thinking about. I was thinking more about, you know, the anger that came up. How could she die? You know, that sort of thing. And it's not intense anger, you know, don't get me wrong, but it's just, you know, maybe regret is in there mixed in. But the point is that I don't believe in cutting ties. So when a child is born, they're still attached to their placenta through an umbilical cord, and that cord is almost always severed. And if you think about it, severing is a violent action. And there is a way to do it without any violence. And you simply let the cord dry up. And so what happens when you're birthing is that first you birth the baby, and then usually people cut the cord right away. And then they birth the placenta. And if they're really stupid, they tug on the placenta. They tug on the cord, which can cause all kinds of problems. But essentially, you can also just let the placenta birth. So you've got the child attached via the umbilical cord to the placenta, and then you birth the placenta. And only after that, when there's no more oxygen being pumped through the cord, that's when you sever it. And that's how I did it with all of my kids. I never got to try a lotus birth, which is where you simply carry around the placenta with the baby. And it only takes a few days, 3 to 7 days absolute max. And it dries up all by itself. The beauty of that is there is no violent severing. And that's what I'm talking about with relationships. So, like to parents or to ex-partners, there are lingering feelings, emotions, things like that. And I don't believe in this concept of let it go. For a long time I've practiced taking things in, take everything and welcome everything with open arms, take it in, and on its own it stops becoming so important that you have to look at it every day and spend energy and time on it. It's these things that want to be seen, different emotions and experiences, they want to be seen and experienced by us in a conscious way. And so they keep coming up into our conscious mind to be worked on. And if we try and let it go and tell ourselves, oh gosh, just get over it, just forget about it, just rise above it, any of those things, we're not doing the work. We're simply ignoring the work. We're compartmentalizing and pushing the work away. So what I've practiced for many years now is doing that work, is seeing those things and taking them in and welcoming them in as valid experiences. And of their own accord, then they don't present themselves with any urgency anymore over time. And what I'm talking about right now is if there's a sense that there's like unfinished business, with someone, who's either passed away, someone who's dead, who's left this incarnation, or, with someone who's still alive, but where the relationship ended, for instance, whether it's a friend or a partner or whatever. What I am thinking about now on this walk is that, it never sat well with me, this idea of cut the cord, and I have practiced it, but it didn't sit well. And I think this is the reason why, because it's still for me, it feels like a violent, obtrusive action. Whereas the lotus birth, just letting that cord naturally dry up and fall off. That for me feels much more in line with how I live my life. And how would that look in actuality? I think it would be that conscious decision. It would be hearing the thoughts, feeling the feelings that come up in relation to, the people in question, and then seeing that visual of that cord drying up. And that cord, when that cord dries up, it doesn't mean the love goes away. It doesn't mean the memories go away. It doesn't mean, now there's a break. It's not that. It's just that connection that was a constant bond, that connection has been allowed to run its course. It's done everything it's needed to do, and it finishes. And the result is a clearing of the field, the energetic field around our bodies and in which we live and think and breathe and experience life. And the clearer that field, the clearer one's experience of life. And the longer those relationships are kept open, the more you feed those relationships your energy, just like a placenta feeds a child. So you're constantly losing energy to all of these other relationships. And that means you have less energy to live your life and to share with the people who are in your field. And the thing with any kind of a violent action is it sometimes leaves an energetic scar, an energetic trauma, and which is why I don't support this idea of violently cutting the ties. And I think when they're allowed to dry up naturally, then it's a very smooth and beautiful transition. And I believe the clearing of the field is that much more potent afterwards, and you feel that increase in energy simply because you're not essentially leaking energy out to numerous relationships which no longer serve you, or the people who are in your field, since those are the people you want to share your energy with now. So it's a disservice, really. And even to those other beings, whether they've passed on to wherever they're going or whether they're still alive, it's also a disservice to those people to keep that bond going, even though it's not a bond of service. It's more servitude. And well, clearly there's a big difference. So when you feel that drying up is complete, that the placenta has been expelled from you and the umbilical cord has dried up and fallen off of the relationship that it was connected to. And this doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. We all have these experiences in our DNA. So it's, even as a man, you can imagine this in the exact same way. And once you feel that experience is complete, that the placenta is expelled, the cord has dried up and fallen off, then you can make a symbolic representation of the placenta and the cord. So with my children, I buried them all, so the real ones. So what you could do is make one out of mud or clay. Make a placenta and make an umbilical cord, and then bury those in a ritual. Create a beautiful ritual, and you bury it, and you say goodbye in that way. You could even do it out of paper if you haven't got mud or clay. And that would be a really beautiful way to complete the entire ceremony of a relationship. Because that's what it is, isn't it? A relationship. It's a ceremony. It's an ongoing, a long one. And there are ritual dances sacred dances that are all a part of the ceremony. And you bring it to a close with the burial at the end. There are other kinds, fire rituals, but for me, for my taste in this case, I believe burial is, for me, the most potent and perfect way to complete those ceremonies. So, enjoy the experience. It's all life, it's all love, it's what we're here to do. So, I can say that 16 days in, I am actually starting to enjoy the walk. So, that's a really big thing for me. And so it's about 16 kilometers that I've come now, and I forgot to check the time, but it was 8 a while ago, so it's probably been 3 hours that I've been walking. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a pause, and then I've got just 3 or 4 more kilometers to go after that, but I'm gonna take a rest and have a banana, and maybe an orange, we'll see, and rest about 10 minutes, and then I'll continue on. And then it'll be like 9:15 or something, and I'll be finished for my walk for the day, which seems crazy, but I can feel it in my heels, in one heel anyway, and a little bit at the balls of my feet now, walking 16 kilometers at a steady pace without pause. So, but it's not good. I've also found that if I pause, then it's really hard to get going again. So I can't pause for very long. So maybe I'll probably stay for just 10 minutes and then finish. And then my feet can rest the rest of the day. And then I'm good to go the next morning. And they feel great, they're rested, and I want happy feet, right? So, yeah. So I accidentally came all the way to Castrojeriz. I guess that's why my feet were starting to hurt. I didn't see a little town in between. There was supposed to be a little in-between town. I never noticed that. And yeah, so I haven't stopped to have my banana or my 10-minute break. But I'm here in Castrojeriz. Well, this is it up ahead, but it sprawls all the way. I don't know if you can see my finger, like over that way. So I just have to look and see where the hostel is, and I guess I'll just head right there. And then I'll have my little breakfast of banana and orange. Hola, buenos días. Oh, okay, so apparently I wasn't filming before I thought I was. So that structure is clearly very round, and I'm not climbing up there. There's the Camino shell. I'm blanking out on what it's called. It's got a name. And if this is the meseta, then it's pretty green. It's not deserty like I imagined. And one guy on the street just told me that the albergue is still a kilometer away, and he said there's a climb up, but I'm not sure. He might have been talking about climbing up there, but I'm not climbing up there. So we'll see. So I made it. It's 19.3 kilometers, and I'm gonna have my fruit finally. I'm just sitting here right outside. There's no one yet in attendance, so I just put my bag inside, but I'll wait out here. And it was a bit of a climb up, but it wasn't too bad. And it was a gentle climb up into town. And yeah, this looks like a really lovely place, and I'm gonna go walking around later on, so I might make another video or two then. So again, forgot to mention I ended up walking the full 4 hours without a break. That wasn't intentional, but it just happened out that way. But it's, yeah, pretty much exactly 4 hours. There's my laundry hanging up. It's so nice here. I really, really like this place. I mean, I would love to just like stay here. Not because I'm tired, just because it's so, so pretty. I really like it so much. Inside and outside, they have a centrifuge. So so after you hand wash, then it dries really easily, because all the water has been pressed out, and he's just very, very welcoming. Breads laid out, showers, bathrooms, but I want to show you the room. Look at this, because this is, I don't know, maybe like a little gathering spot or something. This is a really nice story. Oh, I'm making the shadows, you can't read anything. But these two guys, they met on the Camino. They did work in India as well. This is the, I'm trying to get out of the shadow completely. I'm not sure what's making that shadow, but I can maybe take a picture so that can be read. That's the Spanish version. That's my arm on the phone making a shadow. But it looks like they met here on the Camino, and then they decided to just help out. And look, I just wanted to show you this. Yeah, they wanted to help other pilgrims and in many places, so they did that. Isn't this just so pretty? All these beautiful pictures on the wall. I just love it. I think these are possibly pictures that these two guys who established, well, I'm not sure if they established this or not, because it's San Esteban, so they've been here already. I'm not entirely sure, but I just love the feeling, and the hospitalero is super nice. I didn't understand everything he said, but at the end he definitely said, make yourself at home, you know. And this is how I sleep. So we have these protectors that we put on the beds, and then I sent my sleeping bag back, and I just kept the sleeping sack because it's usually warm enough, and I can just put on some extra clothing if I need to. So see you later. I'm hoping there's a store in town where I can get some food for dinner. All right then, bye bye.